Pleased to be joined by the manager of the reigning American League champion Toronto Blue Jays. That was so nice to say, Mr. John Schneider. Listen, after the World Series, I sat in my house for the next 2 to 3 weeks, ate potato chips and sulked. Still not over it.
Yep.
And I've never hit a double in the gap. So what was that like for you in the days following?
Oh, man. Sub potato chips for beer, and there I am. But I think it took a while. It took a good week and a half, 10 days to really just kind of decompress from the season, like physically, emotionally exhausted, you know. And once that hit, you know, I tried so hard to get back to Jess and the boys and just be present for them and take my mind off of baseball. Probably could have done a better job at that. And there was a couple nights where you wake up in the middle of the night thinking about certain plays that we've talked about. And now I think it's enough. You're far enough removed from it where you appreciate what Vladimir did in the postseason. You appreciate what Ernie did in the postseason. You appreciate what Trey Savage did. Appreciate Addison Barger. You appreciate what we did to get there. You appreciate how close the team was, how close you were to winning it. And you have to figure out ways to kind of hold on to that so you can do it again the next year. So it took a while, and I say thank you to my wife for dealing with me. And I think it's kind of on to 26 now. On
to 2026 with Dylan Cease in the fold. You guys were aggressive from the get-go. What can you tell us about what you know of him besides all the nuts and bolts and all that elite swing and miss stuff? Have you spoken to him? What's he like?
He's an interesting guy. He's a very, very intriguing guy. And I think that led us, everyone knows the stuff. And I think our initial interactions with him, he was very curious on how he can get better. And when you have people, coaches, Pete, Sam, Graham, that can help with that in a variety of different ways, I think he really started to get interested into what we were all about. So everyone's a little bit different. The whole signing happened pretty fast, Hayes, to be honest with you. We had a Zoom call with him and Scott, and within about a week of that call, we had agreed to terms, you know. So I think it was the more and more we talked to him, it seemed like not only from a professional standpoint, somewhere he was really comfortable with and the people he was going to be working with, and the fact that we're a good team. But I think the city and itself really kind of drew him in a little bit with his personal side, his interests, his likes. I think he's going to thrive in the city, and I think he's going to really thrive with the coaches that we have. So excited is an understatement because this dude's already really good, and I think he has the opportunity to be even better.
Well, it was interesting talking to Scott Boras. He said that Dylan was so impressed by your presentation. And when you were talking about how the city drew him in, like, do you think those were keys to him kind of getting your attention?
I think it plays a part of it, right? I think going to the World Series doesn't hurt, and I think having word of mouth spread about our facilities and our team and our players doesn't hurt. But you could tell, I mean, granted, it's a Zoom call, right? But you could tell that he was pretty into what we were saying. And when guys start asking questions, you know, I think that just leads more and more into the interest. And when you have people that can explain it in a way that's very easy to listen to, I think it was easy to see that we all kind of hit it off pretty well from the get-go.
Not official yet, but Cody Poteet, what did you know about him before?
I knew that he pitched for the Pirates and then went overseas, and then you look at this stuff and you go, oh, man. A couple years in Japan and this past year in Korea, I mean, the only word that can describe him is dominant. And another guy, this seems to be a little bit of a trend the last couple of years, going overseas, kind of reinventing themselves, learning a new pitch, changing their approach in terms of how they're attacking hitters, and really having some success. So I think that, you know, the kick change, as it's called, you know, kind of acting like a splitter, the added velo and the strike throwing, he's a big physical guy. I think that there's enough kind of test cases now where guys coming from Korea or coming from Japan, you can put the stuff kind of in a vacuum and see how it's going to translate at the major league level, and we're really confident that his stuff will.
Of course, Canadian baseball fans want to know about Bo Bichette, and you guys are never at liberty to discuss any negotiations, but knowing Bo as long as you have, how do you think he would tackle being a free agent and kind of the processes? What do you think he considers? Take us deep into the mind of one Bo Bichette.
Man, it's for one, it's so cool when players get to reach that, right? I know it's a little dicey when you're going through your free agent year, but everything Bo is getting right now, he deserves, and we obviously feel very strongly about retaining him, and he's going to have however many other teams come and tell him how good he is, and that's something that just hasn't happened for him. I'm saying hi to Matt Bushman, former Blue Jay right there, sorry. That just hasn't happened for him in his career. So I think he's going to – Bo knows he's good. Bo knows that he's going to help any team, So things that are important for him, are you going to win? Are you going to continue to win? I would find it very hard to believe that Bo Bichette would go to a team that isn't competing for a World Series year in, year out. That's my take on it, and I think that's why he's interested in coming back. That's why we're interested in signing him back. But I think that's what he's looking at. That's what he values. He values winning. He values being around people that will push him and help him along the way, So that's kind of Bo in a nutshell, and he's probably hearing some really nice things about him as he goes.
This is a business. If he does not come back, how do you fill the void? He was an elite player. How do you do that?
It's a variety of ways to do it. The one that jumps out to me is you need to fill his offensive production. I mean, this guy led our team in RBIs and missed the last month of the season. He can. Bo is an elite hitter. I think this year he had over a 300 batting average on fastballs, changeups, and breaking balls. Like one of the only hitters to do that in the big leagues. He just has a knack for getting things done. So you got to fill the production for one, and then you got to fill, the defensive positioning, whether it's short or second. I think he's comfortable at either one of those places, and then kind of just the person that's leaving the team. You know what I mean? He's been a staple in our clubhouse, a fiery guy at times, an emotional guy at times, and guys understand where the business is, whether it's him or Chris or Max or Kev or George. Everyone's at a different time in their career. Every single year it's different, but Bo has been a staple for this team for a long time and for this city. So that part will be just as hard.
Okay, last two, because you're fans, you're adoring fans as you're walking down the hallway.
I feel like you at the winter meetings because everyone is saying hi to me. So this is what Hazel Mae feels like every year.
You talk about replacing that bat. Kyle Tucker out there. It's been widely reported and confirmed by Ross that he paid the PDC a visit. Mm-hmm. What, if anything, can you tell us about what he was seeing, what he might have said? Give us the, inquiring minds want to know.
So this is so much easier to talk about. The last PDC visit, I won't mention names, a couple of years ago, I wasn't allowed to talk about. So
I don't know if Tucker had a dog.
Yeah, he did not have a dog. But I will sweat way less talking about this one because I'm not lying through my teeth. Tuck, he lives in Tampa. He's close, and I think him and his agents, they came over, tour of the facility. Sat down. He obviously impressed by that. We sat upstairs for about an hour and a half, talked through kind of where the organization is, where the organization is heading, both from a team roster building standpoint, from an ownership standpoint, and he talked baseball. It was pretty cool. I think it was very, very clear that he's confident in the batter's box. This dude can hit. And the things he talked about, which were impressive to us, talked about his defense. He talked about his base running. He talked about his baseball IQ, what he looks for when he is playing defense, certain tells in a pitcher to try to get 25 bags instead of 20. So it's pretty cool to hear that part of his game. He's a deliberate player. It almost looks like the game comes really easy to him sometimes. So we wanted to kind of break down that barrier a little bit and kind of get to know the Kyle Tucker, the everyday Kyle Tucker, what makes you tick, what are your ins and outs. And it was cool to kind of talk about that too. So it was very productive, and again, great player, and it's not a surprise. His skill set fits exactly what we're doing. So we'll see where the next couple of weeks lead.
Before I let you go, I know you've got a couple of spots in your coaching staff to fill. A lot of people loved seeing Don Mattingly in a Blue Jays uniform.
Me too.
Can you tell us why he left you guys?
Yeah. Donnie talked to me before the postseason even started. It was right before the postseason started, and kind of let me know this was going to be it for him. He wasn't sure if it was going to be retirement or if it was going to be a unique opportunity for him to keep going for a year or two. And there was basically one spot that was, and it's pretty well documented where that is, with Preston being the GM of the Phillies and Rob being a very close friend of Donnie's. And I have so much respect for Rob. Obviously, to get to work for your son who's running a team,
That's kind of cool.
That's kind of cool. You know what I mean? I say it every year. It just happened the other day. Donnie should be in the Hall of Fame. But what he did for me in the last 3 years, you know, from a kid, that Donnie was my favorite player growing up. And I joked about it with him every single day. And to have him kind of impart some of his wisdom and experiences the last 3 years is invaluable for me. And I can't wait to take him and Lori and Louie out, or have him over to the house for dinner with Chess and the boys. He's just been he's turned into a lifelong friend for me, and I wish him nothing but the best. And baseball, like you said, the show goes on. You know what I mean? So we'll have new people in, filling the void, but it's a really tough, almost impossible void to fill when Donnie Baseball's leaving you.
Hear, hear. The finalists for American League Manager of the Year, but more importantly, the reigning American League champion manager, John Schneider, right?
Thank you. I love that. That sounds great. That sounds great. Hopefully, like, one more little thing next year we can say. Just not American, but
we can't say it right now. Can't say it right now. John Schneider. We'll see you at spring.
Thanks, Ace.
Okay, guys, back to you.